Hey everyone! Due to the ADC role update that we are all so excited about, a lot is going to change in the ADC meta. Since I am a bot lane main and a lot of you have asked me my opinion about this, here we go! In this video I will talk about the changes in general and then look at what they mean for my main champion, Misfortune. Well, first of all, let's talk about the item changes. Everyone knows that AD carries are heavily reliant on items, so the changes to these items will have the biggest impact. Crit items basically got a complete rework, and overall I would call this a successful nerf. Riot intended to take early game power away from the ADCs, and they accomplished that by increasing the cost of Zeal items and by removing the bonus damage that Infinity Edge used to give. A Zeal item plus Infinity Edge still looks like a good 2-item power spike, but it really isn't anymore. Well, at least to compare to the old version of Infinity Edge. Just like Conqueror, the new passive is now basically a percentage armor penetration effect, because it converts a portion of your crit damage into true damage. I know, mathematically it's not 100% equal to percentage armor pen, but it's pretty close to it, for the new passive gets more valuable the more armor the enemy have bought. Therefore, the combination of Zeal plus IE is a lot worse earlier into the game. Moreover, converting parts of your crit damage to true damage reduces the effect of lifesteal items. This is of course the case because lifesteal heals you off of only the physical damage dealt by your auto attacks. This in combination with the nerfs to fleet footwork will greatly reduce the standard crit AD carries tankiness, and they will die quicker in teamfights when they don't position themselves properly. Not only that, but the base armor and health regen for every single ADC also took a hit, which means they will be a lot more vulnerable in lane too. This of course helps Misfortune a lot. Not only will her poke hurt way more during the lane phase, but it will also stick better. Additionally, the aforementioned nerfs to crit items are no big deal for her, since she can and now even should build Lethality instead. Moreover, the revert of Last Whisper to total armor penetration from bonus armor penetration is a great buff for Lethality. The keystones Arcane Comet, Summon Eerie and Dark Harvest, which I consider top tier on her already, will now be even more powerful because they abuse the weaker sustain of the enemy bot lane and synergize perfectly with Lethality builds. And now it is time for a confession. In my Misfortune Runes guide I argued that Conqueror was an unviable keystone on MF. The win rates on op.gg however suggest otherwise. The keystone might be not as bad on MF as I have thought initially, but it still is not optimal in my opinion. Well, the true potential of MF Conqueror will never be explored though, because even if the keystone was viable on her until now, the item update definitely puts it in the dumpster. Let me explain why. Conqueror and Lethality have an anti-synergy. The true damage conversion of Conqueror ignores enemy armor regardless of whether you've bought Lethality items or not, and hence scales way better with crit builds. Is crit somewhat viable on MF after the update? No, it's definitely not. The build is not only more expensive, but also relies more on attack speed items, mostly due to the Essence Reaver change. Unfortunately, attack speed is far less valuable on MF than attack damage or armor penetration, because it doesn't increase your burst damage and it doesn't buff up your ultimate. Hence, Conqueror will disappear. Well, that's my prediction. The new Lethality items though. Comet, Eerie or Harvest is definitely the way to go now. The Last Whisper change is not the only direct buff to this build, but also the updated Essence Reavers to some extent, well, to some extent at least. You wouldn't buy this every game, I don't think, but yeah, more importantly there's a new item called Stormrazor, which is a new BF sword upgrade designed for crit builds but works perfectly fine without any other crit items and provides you a respectable 65 attack damage. This thing looks absolutely crazy as a 4th item in Lethality builds. It is basically like Ash's old passive, just in case some of you guys remember, because you get a free crit every time as you fully embrace Misfortune's hit and run playstyle. But don't get too excited, it's not 200% extra damage. It was on the PBE at some point, but they nerfed it because it was ridiculous. I think it's only 160% damage. Well, it's kind of a weaker crit, but it still is a percentage increase of your AD's power, if you want to put it like that. And as we see with Rageblade, that's always a good thing on Misfortune. Well, against squishier teams, you can buy Duskblade, Ghostblade, Edge of Night into Stormrazor, and then start one-shotting enemy champions with your lethality-boosted Dark Harvest Nightstalker crit. Yeah, that's quite a mouthful, isn't it? Well, against tankier teams, you simply go with the insanely good reverted Last Whisper and Black Cleaver. Well, to be fair, Last Whisper should be an auto-include in basically every build, since it's total armor penetration now. So you might want to have Last Whisper instead of Edge of Night, or maybe before Stormrazor and then buy Stormrazor after. Yeah, Rageblade and Death Stance are still superior choices in some situations, of course, and you have to kind of make this decision depending on the enemy team. Lastly, I have to talk about the option of Rapid Fire Cannon into Infinity Edge against really tanky teams. Again, you have the anti-synergy between Lethality and the IE passive. This 2-item combo is really just worse than Last Whisper. Going down the IE path here gives you 20% true damage 60% of the time. Well, 60% of the time you crit, right? Which is mathematically equal to 12% true damage 100% of the time. Of course, you also crit now and deal more damage that way, so it doesn't look too bad anymore. But you have to remember, you need both of these expensive items to deal with enemy armor. Lord Dominik's, on the other hand, is available to you for only... well, right now it's 2,600 gold, but I think after the changes it gets a little bit more expensive, 2,800 gold or something. Well, it has perfect synergy with Lethality, and you can simply buy a Rageblade afterwards, so you get your DPS that way, but it's way, way cheaper than these crit items, and way more effective earlier into the game. I would never throw my money into the crit item gold sink when playing MF, so yeah, Lethality is the way to go, to give you a quick summary. Well, Crit Conqueror and Fleet Footwork is nerfed, so yeah, Lethality, as I said, with Arcane Comet, Summon Eerie and Dark Harvest is buffed. So the changes greatly benefit Misfortune overall, and the new item Stormrazor looks absolutely terrifying on her, even after the nerfs, in the right matchups, that's gotta be said. Well, yeah, that's basically all I gotta say for you now. Leave me a like if you enjoy theory crafting as much as I do, and... I've got a question. With the upcoming rise of lane bully ADCs and buff to lethality builds, who do you think will be better after those changes, Jhin or Misfortune? Feel free to theorize with me in the comments as long as we can, because the patch is coming out on Wednesday, I think. And I hope I see you all next time. Bye!